Hello and welcome to another video from Minus Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today we are looking at something that's now very old, very collectible, especially because of what is contained within this particular issue of the comic. We are looking at the 1975 release by DC Thomson from their series of Cracker weekly comics. And this particular one we are looking at today is issue number 2 of their great new comic, and it was dated January 25th, 1975. Now, Cracker was a British comic, and it was obviously presented by DC Thomson and Company Limited, and it ran for about just under 2 years. It ran from Jan 75 to September 1976. There was a total of 87 issues that were produced singly. After the 88th issue, or after the 87th issue, it merged with the Beezer, and it became the Beezer and Cracker for a short time before Cracker disappeared, and it just carried on as the Beezer. So shame really, but that's what happened to comics back in the day. They would produce so many comics, and then end up merging them when the sales dwindled. They merge them into one of the others, and they retain probably the top comic stories in those comics and put them into the other magazine, or comic I should say. Okay, but this is issue number 2 of the great new comic, Cracker. Now, those of you that watch our videos regularly, you'll know that we've already done issue number 1 of Cracker, and that came with a free gift. This is issue number 2, which is the second one in the series, and this is a comic in front of us. So it says number 2, great new comic, Cracker. Jan 25th, 1975, every Monday. Cover price 6p, and it says free inside the Cracker Bang, the big noise banger. And you see some images of people banging them. And then you got a little dude there with his fingers in his ears so he doesn't hear the bang. Okay, that's the front cover. Let's turn the comic over to the back. And what does it go on the back? So it says every Monday, Cracker, Jan 25th, 1975, mad ads. Bald hair restorer really works. Even old crooks can have curly locks. And it says bald, before bald. See the difference, folks. After bald, and he's a werewolf. Bald hair restorer, it makes you pretty awful. Hey kids, send your mad ad idea to Cracker. 20 Cathcart Street, Kentish Town, London, SW5, 3BM. If it's printed, we'll send you £1. Wow. Last of the big spenders, eh? £1. But then in 1975, I suppose £1 is equivalent of a tenner these days, or maybe 20 quid these days. Who knows, the way inflation has gone. Anyway, that is the back side of the comic. Let's turn the comic back round to the front. Let's open it up and let's have a look inside. Okie dokie. So I've opened the comic, and there you can see inside is the free gift, the Cracker Bang. Now, this particular comic was found in a shop, a closed down comic and toy book shop. We went in, we bought out all their stock, and in the back room was loads and loads of old comics that used to be weeklies, and they'd taken off the shelves so they didn't sell, and they just stuck them in a box in the back, and this was amongst them. And this free gift was with it. Now, there is a little bit of a dent on the free gift here, and that's because the way it was sitting in a box, it was sitting in the box up like that, which is why there is a little bit of a mark running across there. But other than that, the rest of it is in pretty good condition. So what you had to do, I think, was you had to hold it and you had to flip it down like this, flip it down, and that you will shoot out and you'll get the bang from that. So that's, I think, how it worked. But it is, obviously, it's cardboard, and it's been around for 50 years, almost 50 years. So it is probably a little bit delicate, so I don't want to try and do it in case I rip the hell out of it. So I'm not going to try and make it bang, but I am going to move it out of the way so we can read the rest of the comic. So it says, here is a warning. It is dangerous to crack your banger near a snow-covered roof. No, I'm joking really about the banging. I mean, but not about the warning, because I wouldn't be your pal if I didn't warn you about the rush there's going to be for next week's Cracker and the one after that. Yep, Cracker's got 2 more great free gifts lined up for you. So see your newsagents now and place a regular order for the bumper new comic. It's a cracker. Don't say I didn't warn you. And that's Sammy. So number 3, Wheels and Squills, 2-in-1 facts and fun book. And number 4, The Funny Face Maker. And it says more free gifts this way for fun folks. And if you know our website regularly, you will actually know that we do have both those copies available on the Mighty Touch website. Anyway, let's move on. So the very first comic strip in this particular issue is Young Fu, the King Food. And it says, you'll never be glum with this Chinese chum. And this is a black and white comic strip that runs for 2 pages. And it says, one Chinese chuckle coming up. That's yellow. What's yellow has 22 legs and 2 wings. A Chinese football team. Very good, huh? Very good, he says. Okay, you couldn't get away with that in comics these days. That is a little bit racialist. Anyway, on to the next one, comic strip, which is Simple Spyman. It says Spyman's in a fix in the choc bar mix. And that is also a black and white comic strip story that runs for 1 page. Next one is Big Head Branny. Branny's frantic itches will have you in stitches. And that is, again, a black and white comic strip that runs for 2 pages. Spooky Cookie. He cooks for the spooks. Laughter squirrels with meals on wheels. Next one is Scrapper. A weedy looking chap helps Scrapper win a scrap. And that is also a 1 page strip. Castaways on Planet Doom. And this is a black and white comic strip that runs for 2 pages. And then Billy the Kid, the dirty hand strikes wherever it likes. Funny capers with the great escapes next week. And that's a 1 page comic strip story. And it says free next week. Wheels and Squills, 2 books in 1 of facts and fun, and it's free only in Cracker number 3. Facts and figures from the world of Wheels, ghostly gags, monster mirth. On sale Saturday 25th of Jan, issue dated the 1st of February. And we, as I said, we do actually have that copy available on the Midas Touch website. It says Hector the Collector is the next comic strip story. People need protection from Hector's coin collection. And then we go on to School Days with the Snookums, the Snookums, the Snookums, the Skookums, and the Spookums. 4 special pages packed with fun. School time lasts for everyone. So it should be a 4 page comic strip. So it is, that's just 1 page comic strip. And it is in black and white. We're on to the next strip story now. And this one's called The Headhunters of Skookum School. The man who shot big game finds a class he just can't tame. And this is a monocolour comic strip story. So it's black and white with red. And then Scoop and School take a look at this hiccuping spook. And that's another comic strip story. Black and white one. And it says, yes, pals, it's Ghastly Geezer time again. Your chance to win £1. Get an eyeful of Wobbly and Wilbur. This week's gruesome twosome. Not badder, but I bet you could do better. So get out your pencil and paper and let's have you a Ghostly Geezer drawing. If it's printed, you win £1. And it says send your ghostly drawings to Geezer Gallery. Care of Cracker. Okie dokie. Moving on. The next comic strip story is a 2 page comic strip and it's called Joe's Soap. Imagine Joe's surprise when he sees things mini size. And then we move on to the next comic strip, which is Curly's Commandos. And it's 2 robbers draw a blank when they're shelled by Curly's tank. And again, that is a 2 page comic strip story. All of this is black and white. Sammy says, private, not to be read by mums and dads, and that goes for big sisters too. What tastes worse than castor oil? Worse than spinach and even worse than rotten turnips? What smells like 100 rotten eggs and looks like something the cat dragged in? School dinners. Here we are. That's a 4 page comic strip story. Well, it's not really a story, it's more like comic sketches. Okay, the next one is The Nutters, and this is the tale of Percy Potter's driven daft by squirrel squatters. And there we go. That is again a 2-page comic strip story. And then we got Dumber Ed, the Wonder Blunder Boy. What a hoot with a chainmail suit. 1-page comic strip story, black and white again. Sammy's Wacky Weekly. Hi pals, have you got a funny story for the Wacky Weekly? It can be about your school, your town, your pet, maybe anything. In fact, send your letter in, and if it's printed, we'll send you £1. Here's the address: Wacky Weekly, Cracker, 20 Car Street, Kentish Town, London, NW5 3BN. They don't like giving away their pounds, don't they? Oh, £1, as much as that. And then I think the final story is The Iron Hand. Again, it's a 2-page comic strip story in black and white. So there's not a lot of colour in this particular comic. It is just a basic colour front and back page. And also you've got I think there was one monostrip colour story in there. But it does come with a free gift, which is what makes this particular comic so collectible, because the free gift is still with it. Something like this would have been used by kids, and bangs would have been made. These free gifts were not meant to last. They were made to be played, and they will tear, they break, and that's it. They're gone. They're finished. So finding a comic with the free gift in is quite an achievement. So how well did this comic do back in 1975? Well, Cracker did start off with a good following, apparently, but obviously the following dwindled, so the comic only lasted for 1 year and 9 months, so 21 months, so it didn't actually make 2 years. And as I said earlier, I think that was 87 issues that it actually made before it was merged with the Beezer and eventually swallowed up in the Beezer. And then it became obviously a thing of the past. So it started off well, but unfortunately, as with a lot of the comics of the time, I mean, the comic manufacturers used to produce so many comics. I think the idea behind it was a new comic would attract new audiences, and you'd have a big surge for these new comics. They used to do blanket advertising on when they produced a new comic, and then it would run. Obviously, people would get bored of them after a while, and then phase them out. The strong ones keep going, the weaker ones dropped off, and then they would end up being merged with one of the other comics, and the favourite or the better stories or comics strips in those comics would move into the comic it's merged with. The ones that weren't so very good were dropped and left out, and eventually the one that merged with one of the others, the name would be resigned to the past. And that's no different to what's happened here. However, let's move forward to nearly 50 years. So it's 49 years to be precise. It'd be 50 years just after Christmas in the new year. And do these comics come up very often on the platforms these days? Well, yes. Surprisingly enough, Cracker does appear quite often on the platforms. However, not so much the early issues, but the later ones do come up quite regularly. However, the early issues coming up with the free gifts are very, very few and far between. I've looked on the platform and I've gone back a few years and I couldn't see any with the free gifts in issue number 2 or issue number 1 or issue number 3 or issue number 4 come to that. So the comics are on there. You can find a comic number 1, 2, 3 or 4, and they are in fair condition considering their age, but finding one like this with the free gift in splendid condition, almost as mint as this, is as best as you will get of this particular comic, because it's never been sold. It was a shop find. So no, this particular issue with the free gift in this condition doesn't appear on the platforms. However, yes, you know it, we at Midas Touch, we do have this one copy of this particular comic in this condition with the free gift, and that is available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage comics and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes onto the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories. Well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful old comic with me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next video. So bye for now.